Hello, my loves. Another mixed bag this week, so I will get on with it. We've got a kind of a mixture of weather as well. We've had quite a lot of chilly weather again. We've had some rain, but we've also had a bit of warmth. It's been all over the place. I have been craving spring stuff though, so there's a bit of spring stuff here. Now then, I'll get this one out of the way. Discontinued, but one of my favourites. Pear and Almond. The delicious Donna Aqua. I wore this guy this week. She's a beauty, absolutely delicious. Let me just get the notes up so I can read them to you. You know how I feel about this if you've watched me before. Let's see. The only Valentino in my collection. I can't see that changing anytime soon. Almond and pear in the top, middle notes of frangipani and jasmine, base notes sandalwood and hawthorn. On the little sample I had of this, the official sample of it, it said something about like sun roasted tonka bean, which I think is one of the reasons this is so sweet, because it doesn't have like a vanillic sweetness. It's sugary sweet in a way. And it says frangipani rose accord. I don't know if that's some kind of special like pink frangipani or something, or whether there's actually frangipani and rose. Who knows? All I can say about it is that I love it. I wore it for most of the day, and then I swapped over to something else purely because I'd made a big spaghetti bolognese, I think, or something like that, and I didn't want to get it on my shirt. So I put like a kind of jumpery thing on, and when I put it on, I could smell choco musk on it, and it just made me want to, yeah. By this point, the Donna Aqua was very, very faint, so I just wanted to put this fluffy guy on. Nice, cheapy Choco Musk, thankfully not discontinued and therefore still available. Choco Musk is vanilla, chocolate, musk, spices, amber, cinnamon, sandalwood, oriental woodsy notes and rose. And it's so lush. Like, it's just so sweet and tasty and lovely. I'm barreling through these because I have a couple of things that I want to talk about a bit longer. And you've seen these guys before, they're not a surprise. All right, so next up. Now, this is a perfume that I don't think is in production anymore. But it used to be my signature scent. This was my signature, my second signature scent after they stopped making La Belle de Ricci Liberty Fizz, and I literally ran through the 800,000 bottles that I'd backed up with. So this is In Love Again from Yves Saint Laurent. Really cool square bottle. It's actually got some notes written on the back, which I always love about this. I love this bottle. I got through maybe 10 bottles of this. I feel like because this isn't a particularly strong or long-lasting perfume, I did get through a lot of bottles, but I don't think it was more than maybe a year that I was wearing this, possibly. But it's really interesting because this, I think what I liked about it is it had the fruity elements from La Belle, it had the tomato leaf greenness as well, and it had that slightly strange aromatic scent. And this one, I think, has it's got a muscat note, like a muscat grape note, which I think makes it smell a little bit like a muscat wine, like a sweet dessert wine. And I used to really love this. Like I said, it was my signature scent. I wore it pretty much every day to work. And this time when I wore it, I realised I don't love this anymore. I still really like it. And like I said, I don't think they make this anymore, which is a bit of a shame. When I first was wearing it, it was in one of these bottles that had the plastic all the way down. And this is one of the later bottles. Because, like I said, I got through all of the ones that had that on the front. This is one where I had like a bottle at my parents', I had a bottle at work, because I would reapply it. I do still really like this, but I don't know whether it's a thing in my brain that's like, this is like from a different lifetime. This reminds me of when I had a different partner, I lived in a different place, you know, and it's not like it's got bad memories. It's kind of hard to explain why this one doesn't feel so much like me anymore. I'm not getting rid of it. I still enjoy it. I just don't love it the way I used to. You know what I mean? I do still love the other tomato leaf, the brocade, that became my signature after this one. But this one is not a love for me anymore. It's just a like, and it's like a nice memory, but I do still think it's beautiful. But I mean, as I said, I don't think they make this anymore. So the notes on Fragrantica are blackcurrant and mandarin orange in the top, mid notes of grape, peony, rose, and then base notes of blackberry and musk. If you look at the original formulation of this, it does include, I think, either tomato or tomato leaf, and I can absolutely still smell that in this perfume. It's one of the things that drew me to it. It's one of the reasons I tested it in the store in the first place, because I looked on Fragrantica many, many, many years ago, and I was looking specifically for tomato leaf things, and that's how I found Stella Pop as well. So some of my signature scents, some of my favourite perfumes, it's all based around the fact that I wanted that La Belle Cerise from Nina Ricci, the Liberty Fizz. I wanted something a little bit like that, or something that reminded me of it. Some people say this smells a bit like Baby Doll, but I don't think it's really that similar to Baby Doll. It does smell a bit like Bazaar from Christian Lacroix. I actually think I'd probably prefer Bazaar now, but I was saying was it Eau de Michel? I think it might have been Eau de Michel that I was commenting on. She's just got a bottle of Bazaar, and I really would love that perfume, but I've actually bought a few bottles of that before, and they've always gone off. Like, I can always tell that they're not right, so I've had to return them. But that one, that was beautiful. And this is compared to Liberty Fizz, and it doesn't literally smell like it, but it is in the same kind of wheelhouse. The same with L'Ombre dans la Eau from Diptyque, which I have a pen spray of that now, and that one is even greener, but it's the same kind of feel, a little bit more blackcurrant. But yeah, I mean, this is very much in my wheelhouse, but for some reason I just don't love it anymore. And I think it's because, yeah, it doesn't quite feel like Cass anymore. Do you know what I mean? I feel like some of these other things feel a little bit more like me now. So yeah, let's move on to, what do we do next? I might have to move these around, you know. I think I'm going to actually put this here. Sorry I keep doing this. Sometimes I look at things and I'm like, oh wait, that's going to be a bit big, isn't it, there? It's not covering up my beautiful Valentino bottle too much, is it? No. Let's talk about this, because you can still buy this. I don't know if you can get it outside of the UK, because I think this is Saffron London. So I was just really fancying something a little bit poison-like, right? But actual poison... I have a little 30ml of the real thing, but I also have the, what's it called? The Saffron London, it's called, is it called Wild? Yeah, Wild Cobra, which is a much more wearable take on poison. This is Jungle Cobra, which I have talked about before, and I do suspect from the colour, from the name, from the smell, that it is sort of supposed to be somewhere in the realm of tender poison. I now have a tiny little amount of tender poison. I can't even say it's a partial bottle. Someone was selling it as an empty, but it still got like a few millimeters in the bottle that I can spray out. And this is nowhere near as bitter. It's nowhere near as green, and it's nowhere near as soapy. And so this one feels like it's somewhere in between tender poison, and Cabotin de Grez, but it doesn't entirely smell like Cabotin de Grez or tender poison. It actually smells more just like a spring version of the original poison. It's a little bit lighter, it's not quite as thick, it's not quite as sweet, there's not quite as much honey, it's a little bit greener, but it doesn't go fully into smelling like tender poison, in my humble opinion. But I do really like it. I really enjoyed wearing this. I think it smells amazing. I really, really liked it. It was actually surprisingly strong, lasted a surprisingly long time, considering that this bottle cost me about £7. You can get it on Amazon. If I have time today, I'm in such a rush today. I'm making this like an hour or so before it's supposed to go up. If I have time, I will put it in the actual listings. But otherwise, honestly, just search for Saffron London Jungle Cobra and you will find it. I can't get the official notes for this because Saffron London doesn't list their notes, but if we're looking at what I think this is based on, tender poison, asphodita, which is some kind of like fecally smelling, I don't know if it's like a balsam or like a balm or something. Very interesting perfume notes back in the day. Bergamot, Brazilian rosewood, mandarin orange, that's in the top. The mid notes, tuberose, honey, orange blossom freesia and rose. Base notes, musk, sandalwood, heliotrope and vanilla. The thing is, what's interesting about this one, and possibly what's throwing me off a bit, is it does still smell like there's plum in this. And I don't think that's necessarily the case with the actual tender poison. And that's probably why I think this smells so much like a different take on poison, the original poison. It still smells like there's plum in it to me. I still get the bubblegummy tuberose. I get a hint of the honey, but I'm also getting a greener floral bouquet. Do you know what I mean? Like that heliotrope, I think, is quite obvious here. And it's lovely. It's really not that soapy though, so I don't know. But I really like it. Is it a good dupe for Tender Poison? No, I don't think so, but I really like it. So let's do the bigger bottles now. Let's start with... I wore Indie this week. I was wearing black and white, and this is always such a like clean, musky, sweet, sandalwoody smelling perfume. Oh my god, so good. I haven't worn it for ages, so I decided it was time. I think I might put this one over here. Indie, absolute bargain. I don't know whether they still make it, but they definitely seem to still sell it everywhere, so who knows. Let's look at the notes for this. It says plum, white tea, bergamot in the top, mid notes of white cedar extract, lily of the valley, cyclamen, base notes, musk, white musk, black musk, Egyptian musk, islander musk, tonka bean and amber. I get loads of tonka bean. I get a nice bit of musk. I do not get cedarwood from this. I fully get sandalwood, the kind of creamy, yummy sandalwood that you get in like Santal Blanc from Van Cleef & Arpels. I get a bit of plum. I get white tea. I definitely get a little bit of the bergamot, but this smells like coconut cream to me. It's just the kind of sandalwood that smells like coconut. I know not everyone gets that. I get that. This smells cold and creamy to me, like coconut cream taken out of the fridge. Sweet, lovely, loads of tonka bean. Absolutely love it. So delicious. So very happy to wear that. And then I used the banana co-wash from Lush, and then I used a banana conditioner. I haven't got the banana conditioner from Lush yet, but I am going to get that. So yeah, so I used banana, and I was thinking I would like to continue this slightly banana-y smell, but I didn't particularly want to wear either of my actual banana perfumes, which is, I've got the Kayali one, and I've got the And Fragrances Sand, which is a strong classic sandalwood kind of smell, but with a banana candy in there, really. That's what it smells like to me. But I wasn't in the mood for a woody perfume, and I also wasn't in the mood for a very, very sweet perfume like the Kayali one. So I decided to go down the banana ylang ylang route instead. So at the weekend, I wore a couple of ylang perfumes. It was... I really think this is delicious. I mean, this isn't just ylang by any means. So Keep It Fluffy from Lush, which is just... mwah, I love this perfume. So Keep It Fluffy, it's a sort of yellowy floral, tangy floral. I always think this is super, super tangy. I think it's a bit citrusy. It doesn't say citrus in here, but I'm sure there's citrus here. On Fragrantica it says ylang ylang, musk, rose, vanilla, jasmine, orris root. So you've got the classic combination of the jasmine, the rose and the ylang ylang, which Lush love to put together. But this one, the ylang ylang, I think is the strongest floral, followed by the rose, which is the kind of jammy rose that you get in, literal rose jam from Lush, which is a very kind of citrusy, sugary rose, which is I think why this is so tangy. I'm absolutely sure there is some kind of citrus in here, but I haven't got my glasses on that will allow me to check the back of this tiny writing, but take it from me. And then it's got a beautiful sweetness in it from that vanilla. This kind of smells like a classic floral sweet bomb perfume, just way more natural. Some people have compared this to Nivea Eau de Toilette, which blows my mind. I don't get that from it at all. And I don't get Chanel No. 5 from this at all, but I wonder if that's the vibe that people are getting, because it smells a bit like a classic floral with some lovely musk in it. I just really love this perfume. I think it's so feminine. It's so pretty. It's got just that kind of Lush magic that you get when they really nail a floral. So yeah, I really love it. I really loved wearing that. And then I wore Cashmere again, because I don't even know that they list ylang ylang in this, but there's 100% there's ylang ylang in this. There's no argument in my mind that this is full of ylang ylang. Oh. And I was really in the mood, so I really loved wearing my tiny baby bottle. I love this bottle. It's so pretty. Okay, let me just check again. Is this in focus? I don't trust my iPad to do as I want it to. Just double checking. So Cashmere, oh my goodness, it's so rich and sweet and pretty. And this was my second choice. I wore Poem to my event last week, or week before last. it was really a toss-up between Poem and Cashmere, but I wear Cashmere anyway, and I don't really wear Poem unless it's special event, so I decided to go for that one, but my second choice was Cashmere. It kind of matched the colour and the vibe and the feel, you know, of what I was wearing and the event, to be honest. So top notes: peach, coconut, mango, fruit, bergamot, middle notes, geranium, jasmine, floral notes, and lily of the valley. Base notes: vanilla, amber, sandalwood, musk, patchouli, and woodsy notes. This is sweet. It's mouth-watering because it is like a flormond. It has these classic elements of back when gourmands or things that had a bit of a gourmand feel still smelt very perfumey. So this has a decent amount of amber in the base. It has a decent amount of sandalwood, and it has a decent amount, I'd say, of patchouli, but not in a way that I don't enjoy. This is like, for me, this is mango and peach somehow combining to smell a bit apricot-y. Again, it's got that apricot-y jam feel that I sometimes get when there's peach in perfumes that are quite sweet. It's got a lovely creaminess from that coconut and quite an interesting texture, almost, I would say, actually, I haven't thought about this before, but more like a desiccated coconut. Maybe it helps to make it powdery, along with that sandalwood patchouli in the base, with the delicious creamy vanilla in this. But yeah, I mean, where it says floral notes, I'm sorry, that's ylang ylang. I'm not even arguing about it. It just totally is. So I love Cashmere. I really loved wearing it. It's warm and it's cozy, and I think it's kind of sexy, but it's quite grown up. It smells a bit vintage. And then, right, I've been barreling through this because this is the one I needed to talk about, because this is new, not 100% new to the channel. The channel, I've done a haul with this one in. And I think even during that haul, I was like, this is not for me, really. And then the more I smelt it, the more I was like, maybe this is for me, actually, and maybe I should try wearing it like a full wear. So I've kept it around, and on one of the warmer, more spring-like days, I broke this out to try, because this is my first full wear of it, and I'm keeping it, and I like it. I mean, I've changed, guys. I've changed. What's actually happened is I've taught myself to wear buttery florals. So this is Guess Seductive Dream. You actually see what it says, hopefully. Now then, this is one that I smelt it, and the first thing I thought was, those florals smell like actual butter, like a bar of butter that you eat. That's how buttery I think this gardenia is. I have that issue sometimes with gardenia. Gardenia can either go bar soapy, which I love, or it can go lotiony, which I don't love so much, or it can go buttery, which normally I despise. But I think because I've now got a couple of perfumes, I think my real inroad with buttery florals, I do believe, was probably Mambo from Liz Claiborne. They're not like ridiculously strong in that, like it's just a hint of something a bit buttery. But I really started to love that perfume in summer last year, and I already can't wait for it to be warm to wear it again. And that has like beachy florals in it. And then I got Britney Spears' Blissful Fantasy, and that is quite buttery. Very beachy florals with a really lovely candied melon kind of scent in there as well. So I really liked that perfume, and I like it, and I've kept it, and I just think that one's amazing. And so this one, this is kind of in the Blissful Fantasy realm. I think it's got a slightly different texture. It's a bit smoother, maybe less sort of powdery. But it's definitely that same kind of vibe. It's in the same neck of the woods. So the notes in Guess Seductive Dream are top notes of pear and mango, apple and bergamot, middle notes of gardenia, rose, jasmine, lily of the valley, base notes of vanilla, sugar, musk and amberwood. I was scared of the amberwood, but no, this is good. This is a fine amberwood. Either it's like not one of the ones that irritates me, or it just isn't very strong. There's a bit of musk for sure. The vanilla sugar is strong. This is really sweet. It's not massively vanillic, but it is really sweet. But it's more fruity, juicy sweet. I think you do get a lot of pear. You get a nice amount of that mango sort of sitting around. And mainly this is gardenia and jasmine for me. I'm not really getting much in the way of rose. Maybe it's in the background. I'm not getting a huge amount of lily of the valley. But again, it's just kind of rounding everything out. But gardenia is the thing I get most here. And then, yeah, pear and mango. And I think that's what was really doing it for me, because when I first spray it, it's very floral. And then it gets really, really sweet. But that fruitiness, I think, is what is really making me enjoy it. and I wore it to work and I really liked it. Unfortunately, it was on one of the days that my husband was away, so I was like, oh, I think he'd really like this one. He seems to quite like these fruity florals. He really likes Mambo, he likes Blissful Fantasy, and I think he might really like this one, so I'll have to try it again when he's around and get his opinion on it. But if I look at the votes, this is interesting, because on the votes here, Vanilla Sugar's at the top, Gardenia is next, and they're very close together, and I would say for me Gardenia is above the Vanilla Sugar, but they are pretty equal. Then Pear, and then it's the Rose, and then the Mango. Personally, the Rose is way low down, hit to my nose, like I'm not getting that, or at least it's not really coming out that much on my skin, which is interesting. I find that Jasmine tends to be a bit more beachy and buttery for me, so maybe that's why I'm like really aware of that. And the fact that I'm so sensitive to buttery florals might be why that is what my nose is pulling out, because those are the things I'm not used to wearing. So I'm like hyper aware of how buttery they are, like how beachy. But in terms of like beachy, this is really chilled out. This is like a super easy to wear, fun, feminine, girly, sweet perfume. And I just think this is lovely, and it's a good price. It's super affordable. I'm really glad I took a chance on this one, because I had no idea what this was going to smell like. I wasn't expecting it to be buttery, but it just works. It's really pretty. It's just really nice. So I'm really happy that I kept this one around and I tried it. Normally now, unless I really hate something or it has very obvious aroma chemicals in it, I will just I'll just keep it, and then I'll keep trying it until I've decided whether it's something I like wearing, because I used to just declutter anything that I didn't like. If I didn't like it immediately, I'd declutter it. But I've learnt my lesson, and now I know, try it at different times of the year. But yeah, so that's it, guys. I've had to rush through this because it's been a very busy weekend, and I'm only just getting around to doing this now. But thank you so much for watching. I hope you've been enjoying my videos. I hope you enjoy whatever thing I've got coming up soon, which I've already forgotten. And let me know what you've been wearing. Let me know if you have any of these. Let me know if you've tried any of the Saffron London. Definitely let me know if you've tried Guess Seductive Dream. Let me know what you think of it. So thanks very much, guys, and I'll see you again next Sunday. Bye!